one of the best ways to judge people is how they come back from hardship.
Anytime I went through something, I think that, I always went back to, just looking at myself and reminding myself who I am as far as, trying to stay confident.
Drugs, legal issues, financial problems, relationship problems, dealing with deaths.
Understand that, I can use my past wins and my past victories and not let, whatever loss I may be going through at the moment, not let that define me or just rob me of who I am.
Welcome to The Great Expression. I'm your host, Westside JJ. I'm the driving force behind this show. This is Installment 1, and I don't invite guests. Anybody that comes on here, anybody that you see on these videos, or you hear on these audios, are held to the same responsibilities of quality that I'm held to. And today, my co-host is none other than Fresno's own, Woo Stacks. Introduce yourself to the people, Woo. Tell them a little bit about yourself if they're not familiar. What would you want them to know about you?
My name Woo Stacks. I write under the name of Anthony Daniels. So I'm an author. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a trader. I'm a day trader. That's actually like I consider that being my day job. Investor, community advocate for the kids, and everything positive.
Everything positive. So a businessman, an advocate for the children only, or for just the people?
No, I'm an advocate for the people, but my focus right now is mainly on the kids,
on the youth.
Yes, sir.
Because I see some of your posts, and you do say, it's never too late. People in their mid-30s, sometimes they hit that wall and they just accept life for what it is. They're not trying new things. They're not taking new risks. They're just comfortable with that job. They're comfortable with their mate. They're comfortable with their family. They feel like any risk could put what they have in jeopardy. So me, myself, I encourage, people in their late 30s, early 40s, at any age really, to continue to dream. It's never too late to dream. I have an uncle who's probably close to retirement from his job, who just recently got his bachelor's degree, and he's probably pushing 60. So he motivates me to keep going. It's never too late. Don't hit that wall. Never hit that wall. So what would you say to people that hasn't quite reached their goals yet in life? Like what are some of the motivational tools that you can use, or some of the motivational words that you would say to them to keep going instead of like accepting whatever they have on their plate already, maybe adding more to their plate?
I think I'm gonna start off by saying that we live in America, and as much bullshit that goes on, I think it's still the land of opportunity. So with that being said, kind of piggyback off what you said, where it's never too late. And I encourage my peers and people that's older, you can never throw in the towel. So you got to be tapped into new information. You got to change your environment. You got to change your diet as far as what you consume on a daily basis. And that way you keep your brain going, So you could be open to just a new way of living.
Okay, a new way of living. And you said diet. And that's one thing, like, that's probably my one of my weaknesses is my diet.
Like food-wise?
Food, all my intake. I
Okay.
drink. I don't smoke, but I don't smoke hookah, weed, nothing. But I drink on the weekends, and I eat bullshit. Probably more than half the time. I walk out of work. The first thing I see is this big food truck.
Yeah.
I've been working for several hours. I'm hungry. I work, early mornings.
Okay.
And I see this food truck. That's the first thing I see. It's accessible. They take the tap. They make it so easy for you. Like, oh, you don't need your credit card. We accept tap.
Definitely.
And I go in there. I get that chorizo and eggs burrito.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's how you should start your day.
Nah, definitely not.
I just got done. I start good because I drink water throughout the day.
Okay.
But then I kind of just exit out by going to get that chorizo. So my diet, I want to work out more, but in my head, I'm like, I'm not. I remember you said this, matter of fact, you was like, you go to the gym and then you go eat a pizza.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're counseling the good you just done with a bad decision. So that's what kind of hinders me. It's an excuse even that I use that, why would I go to the gym if I'm eating bullshit? So I've given up. I tried to. I ain't gonna lie. I ate Popeyes today, but I'm trying to give up fast food for as long as I could. I'm trying to go without it. I probably went a week
Oh yeah,
But
that's
today
pretty
I was
good.
like, man, I want some Popeyes, bro. And I just went and indulged. And
I mean, I think the success. Once again, I'm not a nutritional expert or none of that, right? Like being in control of my own life, my own diet, all this shit is kind of new to me.
yeah,
But um, just kind of seeing what works for myself and different ways how to hack my brain. I kind of started just counting calories,
yeah,
right? So I seen what my maintenance calories was for my size and my goals of what I'm trying to do with my body. And then instead of just restricting myself to only eating healthy, I will make sure that it will fit into my plan, right? So let's say if I can eat 3,000 calories for the day, not saying that the best way to go about it is to eat fried food or fast food. But if that day I'm on the road or I'm moving around and I can't really get nothing too healthy, or if I have a taste for something, I can squeeze it in and make it make sense, right? But just overdoing it, and I think personally, the cheat days or the days that we don't feel like being disciplined are the ones that kill us. So if a slice of pizza is 400 calories and we know that it takes 45 minutes to burn that or hour to burn that on the treadmill, I tell myself, like, do I want to spend 3 hours on this treadmill, or do I want to walk these extra, 5,000 steps just to burn this off? Like, will it be worth it? Versus, I might skip breakfast, or I might eat a light breakfast. I might eat 2 bananas and, just some water or something. And
yeah,
then I'll be hungry at lunch because I know I'm about to eat some bullshit, but it all fits in to my 3,000 calories.
yeah,
So it's just little hacks, man. Just little hacks. And as I educated myself on, like how to eat a little bit healthier or how the body works, then you can kind of like, you can still enjoy a little bit of the bullshit, but do it in the right way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. My goal was to just go without for an extended period of time and then see what were the benefits, and
Okay.
then not just go back to all out eating fast food,
Yeah.
but to like, okay, well, I do enjoy In and Out.
Yeah.
I'll go and get a Flying Dutchman or something like that,
Yeah.
or I do like a little Carl's Jr. here and there,
Yeah.
but just not like daily, because like you said, you're moving around so much. That's the thing. Like, I'm here, I'm hungry now. I might be in Reedley, got a 45-minute drive home. I'm hungry now. I don't want to drive home, then have to prepare a meal or hope a meal's prepared for me. When I could just stop.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, you can have a banana, a apple, or something on tap. And the thing is, like, I being pushing 40, I should have been focused on my diet and what I was bringing into my body after seeing, like a lot of people pass
Yeah.
probably due to their diet in their mid 40s, early 50s. So I should have been doing it, but it's never too late. I just went and got a physical. I learned some stuff that, yeah, I need more sleep. I probably need to drink more water, and I need to get rid of some of these foods that I'm eating, because I'm right on the cusp. I'm like, I'm good, but if I'm trending towards those levels of fatality,
Yeah.
food fatality, I'm headed that way.
Yep.
So I'm not there yet,
Yep.
but I'm trending that way. So
Yep.
talking to my doctor, I realized, like, yeah, I'm not invincible. I have it won't happen to me mentality. I feel like I'm not even halfway through my life, but headed where I'm headed now, I might be 80% into my
Yeah.
life if I keep going to Popeyes,
Yep.
getting that 3-piece.
Yep.
I gotta leave that 3-piece alone.
Definitely.
So and to touch back on it never being too late, right? And I'm gonna talk about myself and let you guys know basically what this show's about. We got kind of carried away, but that's what podcast is about. Basically, I'm in my late 30s. I'm working on my career. I'm basically at a career job. I'm not gonna say where, but I'm pretty much in a good spot employment wise. But I'm also a high school official, basketball, football. I'm a 5-star Uber driver. You heard? And I also invest time and money into myself. As you see, this is my production. I invited a co-host, Woo Stacks, here to learn from and also to hold me accountable on some of the things that we talk about during today's installment. And I'm still dreaming. I want to encourage people to still dream, and I want to encourage the youth to dream. It's never too late to accomplish those goals. You always gonna need something to live for and to strive for. As long I'm able-bodied, it's nothing. I'm able-bodied, and I'm blessed with the IQ to basically get anything done that I want done. So there's no excuses. No excuses made. And what this show is about is I'm gonna grow as a person as well as my co-host for the world to see. And I want the audience also to hold me accountable on some of these things I said I'm gonna do. If y'all see me in Popeyes, attack me. Boo me. Get me out of there. Ridicule me. Get me out of there. I don't need to be there. I don't need to be there.
I mean, I think a good idea would be to, I don't know how you feel about it, but like on a daily basis, you know, you can post what you eat throughout the day.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's like good accountability, because it's like, man, if I post this bullshit, you know, and I told the world I was gonna eat healthy, you know what I mean? People gonna see me
They
as
gonna be
a
like, oh, he
hypocrite.
cap.
Yeah, or
His word don't mean nothing.
facts, right? Or it could be like, you know, I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have a good diet, but still eat some bullshit every now and then. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you, well, you're gonna see me going back to the healthy shit too.
Right. Like I actually posted yesterday. I had a yams, candy yams. I had greens,
Fire.
mac and cheese, and some smothered chicken. That doesn't sound healthy. But it was homemade.
Yeah.
It was homemade. It wasn't. I didn't go.
No preservatives.
Yeah. So that's a positive right there.
Yeah.
But let's get into the moment. We have a viral moment each episode called "In the Moment," and we about to get to that. And the first thing I'm gonna say is flattery. Imitation is the best form of flattery, right? So recently, a baby spider monkey was found in a Rolls Royce on the side of the road, right? A baby spider monkey found on New Year's Eve by officers with the California Highway Patrol inside a Rolls Royce, along with a large amount of illegal cannabis and 5 cell phones. The monkey is fighting for its life. Officials have announced that it is taken to the Oakland Zoo. What do you think about that? What do you know about that type of activity?
So I own a monkey. He's a capuchin. He's about 4 years old right now. So for those that don't know, a capuchin is the same monkey that was in the movie Hangover, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you could train them to smoke cigarettes. They're real smart, you know what I mean? Very, very intelligent. But they're hyper. It's like having a badass 4-year-old that's stuck at that age forever, right? They're real curious, they're real destructive. He'll just knock shit over on purpose, right? Versus the spider monkey, they're real calm. They're huggers. They move real slow. They walk on the ground versus like just bouncing around everywhere. But other than that, just learning about the situation, like one of my homeboys sent me the article like maybe like 15 minutes after it dropped, right? This is hella early in the morning. And I kind of just wiped the sleep out of my eyes. I looked, I'm like, damn, this is kind of creepy. The reason why it was creepy to me was the actual exit that he got pulled over on off the 99 is the same exit I take to go to my childhood home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, the car, the monkey, the exit with the city in general, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh shit. You know, it was just a little creepy, you know what I mean? But you know, I guess shit happens, man. I don't know too many people that fit that kind of description. So if anybody would have not seen the picture, they would have automatically probably thought it was me and my monkey. But you know, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, what's the odds? You know what I'm saying?
What's the odds?
So shout out to this young man. He's doing something right. Obviously, he's in a Rolls Royce with a large amount of illegal cannabis and 5 cell phones. I mean, it sounds tricky, it sounds sketchy, but he's doing something right. Something right. So shout out to that man, Ali Mused Adel Muhammad, if I'm saying that right. He's probably out on bail, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, somebody told me he out on bail.
Yeah, he for sure out on bail. I know he ain't stuck in Fresno County right now.
Yeah.
Or would that be Madera County?
Madera County.
Yeah, I know he ain't in there. So shout outs to that man. You probably got a case on your hands. Hopefully you win it or get out of there, you know, without too much damage. Yes, sir. So you have a Rolls Royce, right? But I watched one of your YouTubes and you basically said it's equipment. We see the Rolls Royce, we see it as a car.
Yep.
It's gonna attract women. It's a status symbol for sure.
Yep.
But you yourself, it's work equipment. What makes it work equipment for you?
So just to give a little bit of background, like when I've been loving cars my whole life, right? But you know, it wasn't the extravagant shit at first. It was more so like the old school cars, and my favorite car all time is the 5.0 Mustang, right? I still got mine from high school. All the old Camaros, Chevelle, all that shit, right? Grand Nationals, Monte Carlos. So I always loved cars. So as I got older, I accidentally got into the exotic rental car game. Maybe like 2016.
How do you accidentally get into that?
So I ended up buying a Bentley from a guy that owned two rental car companies in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
So he was taking the Bentley out of his fleet. And me and him, we came up with some terms. I ended up buying a car from him. And I was back and forth from Las Vegas to Fresno, right? And he kind of just was having a normal conversation. He wanted me to fix his credit or whatnot. We was having a conversation. And then he basically was like, well, since you kind of travel and move around, I could still use the Bentley in the fleet, but he was selling it so he can get maybe a couple other cars or whatever. So he was like, if you're not going to be driving it to California and it's going to be here in Vegas, you can let me you can keep it parked here and we can do a revenue split. So I can market the car because people still call for it and we'll do like a 70-30 split. So you keep 70%, I keep 30% for managing it, and we came up with the term. So I'm like, well, you know what? Since I'll be moving around and I have a couple other vehicles, I'm not going to be driving this car every day. So I might as well, I looked at it as I just want to make the car pay for itself. So it could pay for the insurance, it could pay for the payment, pay for tires and maybe put a little money in my pocket. I feel happy. Or even a discount, right? So going into that green, not really knowing anything, I kind of just learned from him on the fly, right? And I would do my little research. But at the time, it wasn't a lot of shit on YouTube, or it wasn't nobody I can call up to be like, how does this work? How does the insurance work? Yada, yada, yada. So I just learned on the fly. As I got more and more knowledgeable of how things worked, I seen I was getting screwed by this dude. But that's a whole nother story. You know what I mean? So I got familiar with the game like that. And then I was kind of just dibbling dabbling with other little cars or whatnot. And then in 2021, like the top of 2021, in 2020, I actually decided to get 3 cars, right? And just kind of like start doing my own thing.
Right.
But instead of me just going out getting my own insurance and actually just starting my full-blown company from scratch, it was a platform called Turo, right? So Turo is like the Airbnb, but for vehicles. And I just kind of built the business on top of that platform. It was just me. They market the cars. I took the pictures, uploaded them, set the pricing, and I would drop the cars and shit off myself. And kind of just seeing like, okay, I'm gonna test the market out here in Vegas, kind of see how it works, see what cars is like, what cars is not like, and I kind of just built the fleet from that. And then I sit down with a few of my friends and just people I've been knowing for a long time, and just kind of pitch to them like, you know what? Outside of this Turo platform, I think we can come up with our own system while using Turo, and we can probably grow a fleet to 50 cars. Mm-hmm. And everybody was kind of with it. We kind of put our bread together, and that's kind of how I started.
Oh, tight. What's the name of this company?
Exclusive Express Rentals.
Oh, dope.
But you don't get it.
Yeah, dope.
You don't get it.
Yeah, he said he got with his homies. They pieced up, put some bread together, put the homies on, and now you said y'all 50 or better.
So at the height, that was the initial plan. Like when I sat down, like I'm a visionary, right? So anytime that I want to do something, I always look at the end of it, right? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, in order for us to make what would make sense for us to invest money and energy into this venture, we would need at least 50 cars. That's how I looked at it. And this is the numbers I put, for it, right? So at the height, we had about maybe 34, 35 cars. Mm-hmm. And this isn't all top of the line, Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces. We got Camrys, Focuses, Dodge Chargers, a little bit of everything.
Right. Dope. So you got top to bottom, basically.
Top to bottom.
Right. Okay. And are these friends, would you consider these friends childhood friends or friends that you met as an adult?
A little bit of both, right? But the unique thing about it, for those that do know me, like, I've been in and out of trouble my whole life, right? So everybody that I had at the table with me, we all come from different walks of life, which I'm gonna say different cultures, right? Mm-hmm. Like I got you know, it's of course other African Americans, then a Mexican, Asian, just whatever, right? But everybody that was at the table are people that probably been in trouble, ran the streets, you know, whatever, and then got their life together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a pretty unique group, and I thought it was real. You know, it was real intentional doing it with the people that I selected. You know what I
Right.
mean? We all had been through something, so you know the trust was there.
So these are people that you've already done some type of business with, and you know that they're solid. You know that they have something to bring to the table besides just the friendship.
I mean, to me, I think business is. I'm gonna say this: business is more ruthless than the streets, right? I learned that. So everybody I sat at the table with, even if I haven't done business with them in the legal way or illegal way, it was that I had been through situations where we were tested together, or we've been through like if we sat in prison, we've been in jail together. I know your character. I probably know you better than your parents. I know
Yeah.
you at your worst. You know what I mean? So these are people like I really know. I can trust you. You know what I'm saying? I can trust you. You know, basically with my life. You know what I mean? So I don't think you can get a better business partner than that when you know a person's integrity and you really know who they are outside of, you know, just seeing them in a shirt and tie or just seeing them, you know, their presentation on social media.
Right. So I said that to say this, that it takes a special group of men or people in general to put money together, trust each other and make it work. It takes a special group. It's not always the people you grew up with. It's not always your family. Sometimes it might be someone you only known for a couple years,
Definitely.
2 to 3 years, but you trust them. You've seen them. You see, like you said, you've seen them in certain situations, and you know that they're stand-up individuals.
Yep.
And you might have to not necessarily exclude your closest people, your closest relations, but you have to like be knowledgeable enough to know that maybe this ain't for them.
Definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
like I love you, but I've done things with you and I've seen you crumble and not even like communicate enough with me about it, and left me in the gray area to where I had to almost figure it out myself that it wasn't working. You know, these people here that I probably just met have been solid throughout, and it's the person that I want to work with. You know, and it's like it definitely takes a special group. One of my brothers told me, like, we just standing around. I was on the outside looking in on a smoke session, and we just talking about some stuff. And he just, you know, it was a simple saying, but it was so serious. Like it takes a special group, like you said. The streets and business is more ruthless because business usually has money involved.
Yeah.
Where the streets, I mean, your life's involved.
Yeah.
That's pretty serious. But when it's money, then it's money and your life.
And I think in the streets where it becomes like it's pretty open, and it's quick to figure out who the bullshit people is, right?
Yeah.
Like the word spreads fast, right? Like you'll learn that pretty early on in life in general. We're like, all right, this person right here, you kind of want to stay away from. This person's a thief. This person's this, that, right? But in business, you usually don't get to know people until you actually get in bed with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the dangerous part. And then also, like just some real life experience I had to learn is like you have to settle disputes in business versus in everyday life, very different. You get what I mean? And people understand that and they'll take advantage of it. Like you got people that have a gangster mentality without the violence.
Right.
And those type of people can really, you know, quote unquote, fuck you over in the business world. And you know, it's a lot of shit, man. So you gotta be very careful who you actually decide to go in with, and then it can ruin relationships also. So I kind of just, you know, just having a lot of different experiences with business partners that, you know, things get personal. You really get to see another side of somebody that you thought you knew once money gets involved.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's a whole nother story.
Right. Okay, so like you said, you've been on a couple vacations, and I think your latest one, you came home to a Lamborghini. Is it what color green is that? Is that a Lambo you came home to, or a Ferrari?
That was a Ferrari. Yeah.
Ferrari. So you're also not a financial guru. You know, I know you don't want to like carry on those tags.
Yeah.
But someone who's financially literate.
Yeah.
and you come home to a Ferrari green. And I remember the chatter, some people like, oh, that's not going to be sustainable. Some people just either, I don't know if they're saying that out of spite or they're just saying that because maybe they know something or, but day one, how you jump into a Ferrari? It's got to be some crazy involved.
Yeah.
So how do you jump into a Ferrari day one?
So let me just back up a little bit, right? So like everything, I'm gonna say everything more recently in my life. Once I always had a thirst for knowledge, and I always had like the real fundamentals of financial literacy, right? But I really didn't have the discipline, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like I always battle between being who I'm supposed to be and who I was influenced to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everything that I present or that people see nowadays is always like 5 years in the making. So when somebody see me come home at the top of 2020, and it's crazy around that time because it's like I come
Right
home,
before COVID.
I come home. All right, Kobe dies. No, so I come home January 24th. Kobe dies on the 26th.
Yeah.
And I think COVID hit and then the world shut down in February sometime.
Like
right?
March. It was like mid-March.
Okay.
Right?
So it was like I come home and obviously, I was going for like 2 years. So everything's like fast. But the part that people didn't see was that before I left, I knew I was leaving. You know what I mean? So I had a chance to prepare. And for those that don't know, like I studied and mastered the credit game like very early on. You know what I mean? And you can't be successful in the credit space without actually understanding money and how it works, interest rates, and just how to put together deals and all this shit with banks as far as just business loans, real estate, auto loans, the whole get in, right? So I already had this knowledge. People just didn't see the material side of it. So I would talk about it, and I was already planning certain things, but people kind of hear you, and it's like, oh, we ain't really, at least in this area of California, people ain't seen it. You get what I mean? So it's like, are you gonna buy it? Man, shut up. Like they might not say that, but it's like you can feel the spirit of them being dismissive to what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So when I come home, it's business don't stop too. Like just because if somebody has something going on before, it's the hardest thing in the world. But me already had went through multiple vacations. I understand, unfortunately, how to structure my life even while behind bars. Right. So my finances and the people I had responsible and who I gave power of attorney to, I still had motion. So while I'm in there, I'm taking care of my daughter and I'm taking care of my responsibility, but then I'm also saving a lot of money because I'm not out here, the most I can spend in there is like $200 a month, right, on food and shit. And then, I'm not spending money on gas. I'm not spending, I sold all my cars that had payments or insurance. I sold all that shit. My older cars, I put them on non-op. I suspended my phone for as long as I could. So I really didn't have monthly expenses. So when I come home, it's like, okay, well, I got a cool knot of money. I have a plan. I have credit. I have multiple businesses that I got credit lines on and I can tap into, and I can do a lot of strategic stuff that I had like wrote and talked about in my books. But a lot of people didn't really get to see it on the level that I was coming home to execute it on. Yeah. So when I come home and it's like, boom, right out the gate, this is what I'm coming with. And I think it was once COVID had shut down, I think sometime in March, I had bought a G-Wagon and a Maserati. And the reason why I remember that it was shut down because I got them delivered. But it was just like a lot of people were shocked, but I was just preaching and just trying to tell people, even though it's lost because people get so caught into what they're looking at. It's just, preparation is everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? But people, they don't see you in the preparation stage. They only see the end result.
Right. So you came home 2 months before COVID. And I remember COVID. I went to the Sacramento Kings, New Orleans Pelicans game. Okay. The day the NBA shut down, I went to go see Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram. I'm a Duke fan. Okay. And I'm sitting in Golden One Arena off the hen, and they announced that the game is postponed. It will not be played. The whole arena's booing. I'm devastated. Man, I was there with a female. We hopped in her car. I'm driving it. I hit that 99 ASAP. I got home so quick. I'm devastated. Parked her car, hopped in mine, went home. The next day, I'm chilling with my brothers, and we by this time I'm already invested in crypto. Yep. So the crypto market it didn't plummet, but everything just started dropping.
Yeah.
So we sitting there playing dominoes, looking at our I think I was using Coinbase at the time, looking at our apps, and we see Bitcoin. I want to say I know it went under 4,000, but it got to maybe like 3,500, I believe.
Yep.
And I had that at the time, but it's like the world looked like it's not ending, but it's like, what's happening? They shut the NBA down. This COVID thing is serious. Like, do I want to just buy one of these? I didn't buy one. I ended up buying some Chainlink. I ended up buying some Zcash,
Yep.
cheaper coins.
Yep.
But I dropped the ball and didn't buy because one Bitcoin can change somebody's life.
Definitely.
Just one.
Definitely.
One Bitcoin could change somebody's life. I mean, buying Zcash and Chainlink at the time could too,
Yeah.
depending on how much money you invested in it.
I'm gonna say this, man. Like, I gotta be careful with my word. I don't want to say I'm big in crypto, but I am big in crypto, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like more so, I'm like right now, I'm like 99% just Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of separate Bitcoin from the crypto. But at that time, I remember, and I never been huge just on crypto, but I would trade in and out, right? Like I would do. I never really. Well, I'm gonna say in 2020 when it was like a lot of hype, I was in and out of like Dogecoin and all that, right? But like I would fuck with Zcash, I would fuck with ETH, I would fuck with Solana, a little bit of XRP, right? But damn near anything at that time, if you would have put a significant amount of money, like
Was a win.
it could have been life changing. You
was
know what
a
I'm saying?
win.
Like, and I'm talking about just a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think regardless, even the people that did make out good at that time and hold, everybody still has regrets. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think I met
definitely-
nobody that didn't.
I got a regretful story. I regret the Bitcoin story because not really though, because I didn't have a whole lot of money, but I had enough money to buy one of those Bitcoins. So, but I was thinking like 3,500. I need my cash, you know. So
definitely.
I don't really regret not buying one, but what I do regret is I want to say I sold my Chainlink. It had got to an all-time high at about $7 to $8.
Yeah.
This was like the end of July. So I'm thinking, I'm smart, right? So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna cash out and it's gonna drop.
Yep.
And then I'm
buy
gonna put it
in.
back.
Yep.
I made the mistake of cashing all the way out to where the money's getting sent to my bank account rather than my wallet.
Yep.
So I had to wait. And most of my money at the time was into crypto.
Yep.
I get a check, take care of what I need to take care of, and buy crypto.
Yep.
So I'll say like 80% of my money was into crypto at the time. So I had Zcash and Chainlink at the time. So Chainlink was probably my biggest investment. So I accidentally cashed out and sent it to my bank account. I had to wait 2 to 3 days. In those 2 to 3 days,
It's horrible.
Chainlink probably got to about $20. So I was like, I won. I mean, I made money. I can't even say I won because I was investing when it was $1.
Yep.
So I'm thousands of dollars in, and it goes from 2. Well, I started at about 3, then it dropped to 2, 1. I'm still putting money in. So I probably quadrupled my money.
Yep.
So I made money on it, but I took it out at the wrong time, thinking it was gonna plateau and then drop, and then it ends up in 2-3 days it goes to 20, and now I'm like reluctant to invest in it. Now I put the money into Z. Z was growing, but not as fast.
Yep.
It ended up getting to about $56. So I'm like, yo, I took out several thousand, whatever I took out at 7, then it goes up 8 more times. I'm like, man, I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm like, I felt like the whole COVID thing, if I had to grade myself on how I operated throughout COVID, I probably have to give myself like a D plus, a C minus. I didn't get a PPP loan, which was practically free money if you didn't abuse it.
Yep.
I did make money off crypto, but not nearly enough as I should have made.
Yeah.
I quit my job at the time. I was working at AT&T at the time.
Okay.
I quit my job, and now it's a blessing now, but the first couple years it wasn't, because I ended up, getting the job that I'm at now. And the first couple years, it wasn't good for me. I kind of like struggled, more than I would like to.
Straight up.
But now it's good. You know, I made it out of that. So overall, my COVID grade, I gotta go with a D plus. Like I could have really maximized a lot better during COVID. I actually thought out some stuff. You know, maybe the grade could change because I this is when I thought to do this, start doing this. Like, what am I gonna do? You know, I'm a creative person. I haven't been creating for the last several years of my life. That's what I'm truly supposed to be doing, creating something. Like as I create, every aspect of my life gets better, and I've watched every aspect of my life get better by just starting this, you know. And I'm barely scratching the surface. So that's when I started to think up, you know, okay, what am I gonna create? I quit my job, which now, like I said, is a blessing now. So maybe my grade is better, but I think once I made it out, like the grade was like a D plus. But 2 years later, I can say it's probably worked its way to a B. Okay. So if you was to grade yourself on how you operated during COVID, what will a grade you would give yourself?
I'm a little critical on myself, but if I'm being honest, just for like reality, I gotta probably go with the highest. I gotta probably go with an A plus because, like, I go to jail, well, I turn myself in to go to prison for all of 2018.
Was it federal?
Nah, this is state. Okay. State time, right? So then I get to, at the end of 2018, I get to a fire camp. So in a fire camp, for those that don't know, it's kind of like you damn near feel free besides it's no girls and you got to wear these ugly ass orange clothes, right?
Right.
But we get to eat good. You know, I met a lot of good dudes there, a lot of good people, and it's flooded with cell phones, weed, and whatever vice that you want, right? But for me being that this is my first time ever going to prison where I actually had access to a cell phone, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people think all prisons are created equal, but they're not. I always been to horrible prisons, violent, lockdown, real serious. It's not Disneyland. Like a lot of prisons people go to, they're people just doing drugs all day and watching porn and shit, right? I never had that experience until this last time when I went to fire camp. It's like, oh, should I get access to a phone? I'm damn near free. I can do all my moves, right? So I'm in there fixing people's credit, showing people how to add trade lines, and you know, we got it popping, right? So I got my whole dorm popping. I was always familiar with the stock market, right? Maybe from like back to like 2012, but it was more like, okay, I put a few hundred in right here, buy these stocks, just hold, right? And I really wasn't privy to trading, but I had my phone, I had a smartphone, and I used to put these clear, I forgot what they called, but I had these little earbuds, and I would put my headphones over the earbuds. I would just walk the track. So I paid for the little premium YouTube. So I hide the phone in my clothes, and I just walk miles and miles. I'm listening to podcasts, and you know, I'm just familiarizing myself with how to trade stocks and options, right? So in 2019, I would wake up, you know, maybe like 5:30. I'll prepare, look out, dodge the police and all of that, and I'm trading like the first half hour that the market opened before we go to breakfast. And like me being familiar with that, and then going into 2020, once the world shut down, we had a huge dip. It's basically like if you look at a stock chart or a crypto chart, you're gonna see a big V. So that means that the price is right here, it dipped, and then it comes back. But when it came back, it not only came back to where it was, it kept going higher, right? Yeah, facts. And it kept going higher maybe for like the next 2 years, two years plus. So me being able to read charts and shit, it was very exciting for me to like that time where it's like, okay, I already got a little bit of bread to play with. I'm buying Bitcoin maybe between 4,000 to 7,500, and you know, it wasn't always like me buying complete ones where it's like, okay, I got 1,200, boom, boom, but you know, at the price of Bitcoin, that's a cool chunk. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm accumulating, and I'm doing a little bit of trading in crypto, but I'm getting real familiar with options, right? So I'm making money like that. And then when you get success, well, at least when I get success in something, it makes me like that much more addicted. Yeah. So I'm tapped into that. And then I'm helping people and I'm charging people to give them the information and make sure all their forms is right for the PPP, right? Right. And everybody's getting them, right? So it was just like a lot of different shit going on. So I'm gonna say like between not just making the money, but the people that I ran into and the connections that I made and the opportunities I seen, because I seen how the economy, once the government started printing checks, they started paying the people unemployment and the PPP, was a lot of money flowing. And I seen that the banks loosened up, and me being privy to how the credit game works, it's like, okay, this shit's just wide open. It's a wild, wild west.
Yeah.
From me studying financial markets all the way back to like the early 1900s, this shit ain't never happened before. So I was just one of them people that kind of like seen it.
You was prepared for the opportunity.
I was prepared for it, right? And I didn't even know, like, nobody could have predicted COVID.
Yeah.
So it was just, I had a lot of different fires going, to the point where I would put out certain shit because I didn't have the time or the capacity to even deal with it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, I got this going on over here or whatever. So that's why I say overall, I give it an A+. But obviously, when I go back to being critical, it's like I understood maybe 80% of what I know now about Bitcoin, but I didn't practice what I preach by being fully, like, my conviction was there, but I should have put more money where my mouth was at.
Yeah.
And at that point, I probably wouldn't even be on social media right now. Like,
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Be out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's it's still at six figures right now still?
Yeah, I think today hit another all-time high to I think like 109,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
imagine buying one at 35. I'd have probably cashed that motherfucker out by now. I wouldn't have made it to 100,000. I'd have probably cashed it out I wouldn't have got past 50.
So I'm gonna tell you what's crazy, right? So like, let's go back to December 2017. Was it December 2017? Yeah, I think it was December. It went from, it was always flowing between like 2,500 to like 3 bands for a minute.
Yeah.
Then it went up to like almost 18,000 or like 18,000. And then like maybe like a few days before Christmas, it dipped back down, and then it went back to like the 3s, and it stayed there for like maybe all the way down to 2020. And just me accumulating and buying between 35 to 4,500. Well, 35 all the way to like 7,500. It was like, my target was always the 17, 18,000. It was like, okay, boom, it's been here before. It'll return back. I'll be patient. But once it broke the 25, the 30s, it's like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm this much in profit. What should I do? Me already wrapping my head around like, okay, I understand that Bitcoin is infinite. I understand the technology. I look at it as a savings technology, right? I understand it as being the best thing since fire, right?
Yeah.
As far as like its existence. But I want to go buy this watch. I want to go buy this car.
Yeah.
I know that if I take this money and I can go buy this crib, or I can go buy this, I know exactly what it's going to do, versus like, okay, I believe this is going to happen, but I can put this in my hand and for sure I know that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Or I can actually see it.
With facts instead of faith.
Yep. And so that's where the critical part come in at. But it is what it is, man. It was a wonderful time.
Beautiful time.
Beautiful time for a lot of people, you know. And even when I look online today and I look at like a lot of people that's on social media that's big, like I can go back to 2018, 19, 20, early 2020, before all that shit went on, and see where they were at and where they're at now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think
it's a lot of people, you can tell like their lives is different.
Yeah.
They might not say those exact words, but they like, life is different. You know, they a little more confident.
Yeah.
Then Facebook statuses is a little different now.
Yeah.
Facts.
Facts.
Yeah. I just imagine, I mean, look like you might have ran out with 6 figures.
Yeah.
Okay. So this segment of the show, we gonna call it the assignment, right? And we gonna see, you know, I think you understand the assignment, you know, after all that we've talked about so far. And to pass this assignment, it's basically an audio essay. You know, all we ask for is transparency and a sufficient amount of words to pass. Okay. Knowing what you know about Fresno, California and its surrounding areas, what is a business that you'll open up that you have a good feeling about potentially being successful long term? I'm talking about a physical place of business that's open to the public to come into for services. And what are some of the ways you'll go about structuring this business if you, by your own definition, if you are what is said to be middle class, if you're middle class or if you have, and you have above average credit, like what will it be a business that you would want to open up that you think can really last, that may be missing from Fresno? Maybe Fresno would need that like they can probably even follow and grow on?
Just off the top of my head, and just understanding the area and understanding how to swim with the with the current. Uh, we are in the mecca of agriculture,
Right.
right? And I think that when a lot of people think about business, they automatically skip over it because, and I can speak for our people, right? Even though, um, once again, I'm gonna speak for myself, but like my mom actually worked in the fields, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like a lot of black people in this area, even though we don't get credit for it, like we were in the fields first before a lot of the Hispanics came, right? Or even at the same time, going
But
back
you don't get it.
to
You
the
don't get it.
60s, 70s, you know what I mean? Like we were in the fields too. So we get disconnected from that and people go automatically to the barbershops, the salons, the
Yeah.
nightclubs and all that, right? But if you look around, we got grape fields, we got almonds, we got all of this shit. And, just to answer the question, I would think that, something that'll be, how should I say it? Wouldn't be too hard to get into and could be done with, um, just some basic research and just, you can kind of like self-educate and the resources are everywhere will be to probably get into like a farmer's market, right?
Okay.
Where you don't have to go buy or rent an expensive building because like I'll see like fruit stands, quote unquote, farmers markets, quote unquote, and they're not actually like enclosed.
Yeah.
Or some of them are just like warehouses, or some of them they're not even in prime locations, right? I know it's one I think on Shaw and Fruit or something, but besides that, like a lot of the times they're out the way, right?
Yeah.
And I think you can even source a lot of your fruit or a lot of your products just kind of basically by being like a middleman and getting on consignment from a lot of farmers, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking like, man, I got 20,000 and I can rent or lease a spot, or if you got a little bit more, you can buy some land and you can build a warehouse. You can build a warehouse for maybe 30 grand.
Yeah.
A lot of this shit can be done, with the right strategy through credit.
Right.
And then you can source the fruit and kind of build from that. And I think with the power of social media, and you look at the gap between what other older farmers are doing and how they're doing it, I think all that shit could be revamped. You know what I'm saying? Like I would make it cool. You know what I mean? And then also it's another untapped where, like, let's say if I want some natural medicine, right?
Yeah.
I might not want to take an Advil or a Tylenol. Where do I get rosemary in Fresno, California? I want to try some rosemary. I want some rosemary tea. You know
There's
what I mean?
nowhere we can go get rosemary.
Not that I know of. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure probably is some people doing it individually.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
I want to pull up to a spot like, hey, for sure they got this, or you know what I'm saying, the doctor said something wrong with my kidneys. I want to be able to get this for it or that for it. You know what I mean? Like something natural. And I think that if we had a spot like that was marketed, branded, and positioned correctly, and you had social media presence, and we actually introduced it to the youth, now I think it could be a successful venture.
Right. That sounds successful. Because I always tell people like some of the reasons Fresno is considered slow is because we're farmer dominated. And farmers aren't worried about, for the most part, they're not worried about the party life and nightlife. They don't really care about that. You know what I'm saying? And that's, it's not like LA where, they're used to the parties and, the flashy and the Bay and all of that.
Yeah.
So of course those are the places you're gonna go and have fun
Yeah.
because they've always been that. When they structured the city, that's what they knew it was gonna be. It was gonna be an attraction. They're by water. Fresno was like, yeah, we're gonna come here and we growing crops.
And then too, like I understand, like I don't say understand, I got basic understanding that like you see who has the power in the Central Valley,
Farmers.
right? It's the farmers because you see them campaigning and getting certain people in or out of these political positions based on what they want to do with the water, right? And then like when it comes to like building permits and how they zone certain property, you understand that the farmers. So when you got a farmer that owns 3,000-4,000 acres and he's paying X, Y, and Z for property taxes, you got to listen to him when he come to these meetings. You know what I'm saying? So with me, just kind of being I'm gonna say kind of like just having certain life experiences and being in certain rooms and just knowing certain people. Like I know some rich ass farmers. I know farmers that got elevators in their houses, or if you go through Van Ness, north of Herndon, you got to understand that like you got to study who owns these houses. Like,
Yeah.
where did they get the money? It's not just like these people popped out of nowhere. Understand what industries and shit that they in, and I don't want to say all of them, but you got a lot of farmers out here that got bread. You know what I'm
crazy
saying?
bread.
And me just being in the car world, if I pull up at a gas station, a nice car, and somebody else pulls in, or even if they're in a regular car, they be like, "Hey, you know what? I got a Lamborghini Huracan this year," woo, and it's talking, and they want to ask me what I do, ask them what they do, and it's be like, "Oh, well, we grow almonds or whatever." You know what I'm saying? So it always sparked my interest, and eventually, if God bless me with more life, as I get older, I want to get my own farmland, and even if it's not just strictly to make money, just to preserve money, and then also like, use it to where we can introduce and teach the youth with
Yeah,
whatever it is I'm doing.
it's some good soil. Like in my backyard, I could probably grow
Sure.
whatever.
For
The
sure.
soil is crazy. So
For sure.
like it's a project. Save yourself some money, learn something.
Definitely.
We got a pecan tree in our backyard.
Yep.
My grandma used to sell pecan pies.
Yep.
We go pick them up, like homemade pecan pies.
Definitely.
That's a resource. So assignment passed.
Will you handle that, please?
So farmers market, an edgy farmers market.
Yeah, but I'll make it hip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then also like you can throw a smoothie bar up in there, a juice
Yeah.
bar. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if I want to go to like once again, like, I'll juice watermelon, right? And it's like, boom, okay, I'll have a big ass jug of watermelon, but it's time consuming. What if I want to go buy that?
Yeah.
Like, I want to go buy 2 gallons of like a pure watermelon juice. Once you drink regular juice, you be like, man, this other shit don't even taste right. It's full of
Right.
sugar, whatever. But once again, I don't know of a place besides these little bottles where I can go. I know it's cool to go there, just like a regular supermarket.
Yeah, it's like entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
They
you know
will
what I
sell
mean?
it. Yeah.
Where it's like I can go buy this, I can go source this, and it's cool to be there. It's welcoming, it's commercial, it's all these things. So I would if that was a business I was going into, I would I would just bridge the gap. I see how everybody else doing it, but I want to make it more commercial, more welcoming, more inviting, more vibrant.
Okay, I'll fuck with that. I think that'll work too. That'll work. All right. So this part of the show, this is the accountability stage. I told y'all, like, this show's for me to grow right in front of your eyes, for the world to see. And, everybody needs accountability partners. And I don't have guests on the show. Today, Woo Stacks is a co-host. You're not going to see him every time. He may not be back for months, but he will be back. So he's a co-host today. I'm the permanent host, but today he's the co-host. I don't do guests. And what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves something we want to hold ourselves accountable for, and we're going to give each other something we want to, something, I could give him something I'm going to hold you accountable for, and I'm going to give myself something. And then he gives himself something, and then he gives me something. It's a internal receive, and an external receive. So I'm going to start with, my man's an author. All that he's done, he's written 2 books, The 800 Blueprint and Plastic Millionaire. I ain't gonna lie. I got the 800 Blueprint. I haven't read the book. I'm not lying. We don't do that on this show. We don't do no type of lying.
Will you handle that, please?
I haven't read the book. So I'm gonna hold myself accountable not only to read the 800 Blueprint, but also the Plastic Millionaire. I'm gonna read both of those. I'm gonna give myself some time. Before my birthday. My birthday's in like 2.5 months. So before my birthday, I will complete both of those books. Woo Stacks will come back, and we'll talk more about those 2 books. What I'm going to hold you accountable for, if you receive, I want you to use your voice and your likeness to motivate and captivate the people to grow, primarily the youth and young adults. And you're already headed that way. It could be through public speaking. It could be through stuff like this. It could be if you want to go on Facebook Live. But I want the people to see you. You've always created statuses and story posts and things like that. But it's always good for the people to see you. And you've got the tools to motivate. You catch the people's eyes. The youth. Syrup always says this: the youth is going to pay attention to the successful person. Like, I could say something, the same exact words that you say, but who they gonna listen to? You know what I'm saying? They gonna listen to the person they look at as the more successful person. And I want to hold you accountable to continue what you're doing. I saw you speaking at Serb's event during the holidays, and to do more of that in some form or fashion. You know, drop the jewels on the people, because I think you've always had the ability to captivate. There's a lot of people, even I've seen people who've hated on you, but also supported you in public. They probably hated on you in private. There's this woman who I'm hanging out. This is years ago too. This is probably over a decade ago. I'm hanging out. I'm somewhere. It's a group of girls, and they're talking about you.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I know him. I know his family." Kind of like shunning you, like, I know, said your government name, I know him. But then I'll look on social media and she's pom-poms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So she's in private, you know, she's trying to down you.
Yeah.
Not really murder mouthy, but I know him. But you know, Facebook, she's on every post using your quotes. Like, I've never seen a hater here.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen her post that on her statuses. So I'm like, man, that's kind of janky. So you've always had the power to captivate. And I think your statuses, you know, go Fresno viral all the time. So I want you to take those words, put them into live action, and show the people, you know, allow the people to see yourself. You know, do you accept that responsibility?
No, definitely, man, because I think you right on point with that. You know what I mean? As far as I kind of told myself coming into this year, that's what I was going to do. Me and Syrup, we had multiple conversations about that. So I've been kind of coming out of my comfort zone.
Right.
I don't do public speaking, you know, the podcast. With me, I like to be in my zone working, you know what I'm saying? And I like to touch the people, but kind of be like from afar.
Okay.
So I know that, you know, you're going to be more effective by being in people's face. And sometimes they need to see you, they need to hear you, they need to feel you. So, you know, I'm very passionate about what I'm doing. And as far as just making an impact, because we need it out here. So I wholeheartedly accept that. You know what I mean? Like, I love that challenge, you know. And I want people to see me, you know, just step up to it in public.
Will you handle that, please?
Okay. So y'all heard that. Like, when he returns, we gonna do a review. We gonna do an update on what all that he's done. We gonna give it some time too. It ain't gonna be right away. We gonna give it several months. You know what I'm saying? We gonna update on where he's at on that, and I'm gonna also update y'all. I might update y'all without him being here. I'm gonna wait on the books. I'm gonna read the books, the 800 Blueprint and Plastic Millionaire. Those are things I need to read. You know, I know a little brief. You know, I did a little YouTubing in my day. I even watched your YouTube channel that you had going. I watched some stuff on there. So, but I'm gonna read the book. I'm gonna read the literature and get the knowledge, and we'll talk about that. So
just a little background and like, you know, just a way to look at the books, right? So when I write or when I teach, like, it's like 30% information, 70% on how to perceive the information.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, it's like, you know, you might hear it, but you might not be able to put it in the proper place. You know what I'm saying? So when I write the books, it's straight from my voice, but it's like, okay, well, this is the system. Like, you probably got a preconceived way of looking at something, but I'll be like, okay, I respect that, but just forget that for a moment and look at it like this. And majority of the time, at least from my point of view, is it's all about how you look at it. Like, you can make the most complex shit seem very simple if you look at it from like a fresh set of eyes. You know what I mean? So just kind of like, man, when you read it, just be open-minded, where it's not like, okay, well, I kind of heard about this before, heard about that. Just look at it from like brand new eyes. You know what I mean? And then and let me know what you think. Right.
And know how to apply the knowledge too when receiving it. So what's something you want to hold yourself accountable for?
I'm going to say maintaining my discipline, because I believe that everything I've done in my life has been very, if I'm being honest, been very easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see what my life looks like with a high level of discipline, because I feel like I've been skating by, and even though I work hard and even though, you know, I feel like I deserve the things that I get, compared to how I look and grade myself, I don't feel like I've done shit yet.
Oh, okay.
So with me, it's just holding myself to a higher standard in every aspect, in my life, from fitness to diet to, my the amount of concentrated work that I put in. Not just putting in work where it's like, okay, well, I went hard for 3-4 days and, I go on vacation for a week, where it's like, no, I'm gonna stick to this schedule. I don't care what's going on. So I want to do that for the complete year. And then obviously continue it after that. But for this whole entire year, just stay on my line.
Right. Create a system.
Create a system. Because I never worked a 9 to 5. I never had a set schedule. And even when I was going through high school and junior high and just, in school, it was like I was there and it was structured. But I don't remember sitting down doing no damn homework. I don't even really know, you know what I mean? Like if I look back on it, I'm really being honest with myself. Man, I passed and I even got good grades, but I wasn't trying. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, I really put my effort into it. And I got spurts in my life where it's like, okay, for a month, nothing else mattered but this. And then it worked out or just certain things. But I want to know what my life will look like on the other side when I put in just full blown dedication and discipline.
Right. Okay, we got that. And again, y'all heard that. So we'll come back to that when he returns. So what is something you want to hold me accountable for?
Just me looking on the outside. I know you're a creative dude. You got a voice. You got a sound mind about yourself, right? And we need that out here. I want you to get out of your comfort zone and be more interactive and be more influential with the youth. So I want you to come out of your shell a little bit and kind of be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna give some community service, and whatever capacity that may be, whether it's social media, whether it's in person, whether it's you being a little more intentional when you're doing the refereeing,
right?
Where it's just being more interactive with the youth. And I just say that because I was introduced into what I'm doing as far as dealing with the youth with Syrup,
right?
And
shout out Syrup,
and that shit kind of like shocked me. Where I'm like, oh shit, like these kids really need us, like in my mind, it's like everybody got an uncle or parent at home. No, they don't. You know what I mean? And any one of us could be the person, or it could be like just that sound voice that can save one of these kids' lives from making a dumb decision. You know what I'm saying? And even regardless of how we feel about ourselves, how far we're not, just us being just men and standing on certain principles, that might be absent from a little boy or little girl's life. So I just anybody that I see that's on the right track, that's out here chasing their dreams or just doing something positive, like we all need it. Like I can't save them all. Syrup can't save them all. So, right now I'm just trying to, anybody that's listening to this, if you got a point of view and you got something positive, like, put yourself out there. But
right.
I just want to tell you that personally.
Right. Yeah. Cause and I was thinking about that one day too. Like everybody's job is different, and you should work in your strengths. Like, really, I'm not a huge public speaker myself either, unless it's like I feel like I absolutely have to say this.
Yeah.
Like, and then I would say it if it's like if I'm already responsible for what needs to be said.
Yeah.
So I do try to use this as my tool, and I try to motivate others, not necessarily the youth, because I mean it's probably going to be pretty difficult for a teenager in school to do a podcast. It's difficult for anybody to do it. Yeah. But I try to motivate the youngsters. There's a couple people that I speak with and I try to coach up to do it. And I try to figure out how can I get their attention, not necessarily to watch my content, but to get their attention to say, hey, if JJ can do it, man, I could do it way better. Fresno's a competitive place because we always think it's only limited. It's only so many spots for us. They think, well, so-and-so already made it doing that, so I can't do it because he already did it. When it's not, it's unlimited because with the access to the internet, the space is unlimited. It's not like a magazine anymore where there's only 100 pages. Yep. Everyone can create their own magazine, pretty much. So I try to, the only time I've kind of like ruffled feathers and got people to kind of be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm about to do it. Well, I've done it, but where I actually ruffle feathers is when I talked a little bit of shit, just a little bit. Somebody was like, who I'm looking for a co-host to do this hip hop show, and I was like, oh, I'm the man for the job. Outside of this person, I don't think no one can fuck with me in this space. I don't really talk a lot of shit. Yeah. I talked a little bit of shit. Yeah. And now I'm seeing subliminal posts here, subliminal posts there. People commenting under the status like, oh, what a
Yeah.
So Fresno is a competitive place. Like if I'm not making it clear that I'm competing, then it's gonna be hard to motivate people to try it. And I'm open to it. Like people always say, oh yeah, I don't like your perspective on this. Watch when I make a podcast. Do it. Yeah. Like one of my first times sitting down, I was talking with my cousin. I said, one of my goals is to motivate people to do it because we need it. We need hairstylists to do it. We need finances. We need old street guys to talk about their past and all their wrongdoings. We need athletes. We need music reviews. We need whatever, fashion, health, relationship, therapeutic, all of that. And we got the people in Fresno. It's just we lack the infrastructure. And I try to show people that if I can do it, I'm pretty much like a one-man army. If you can get with, especially the youngsters can do it because they grew up in this. They were in elementary when Instagram came out. So I know they know one or two people. If it's not in your immediate circle, you know somebody else who's tech savvy, you know somebody else who speaks well, you know somebody else who has influence. And y'all 2-3 people come together, you guys can work wonders. If I had one more tech guy, I will be out of here. But I've tried to work with other people and they will say, yeah, I'll do it. And then they don't end up showing up. So maybe I need to just talk more shit and say, no, I'm the guy, whatever, to motivate people because people want to compete in Fresno. Yeah. If they don't feel like you're in it for competition, then they almost like write it off.
Because I think when you put that competitive nature out there, like people will see you doing something like, oh, okay, all right, whatever, right? And you have to really like blow up for them to pay attention. Yeah. But when you kind of talk a little shit, it's like, I want to look over there just to see him lose. Kind of like Mayweather. Yeah. Most people that was tuning in to Mayweather or even Tank or whatever, it's like, I want to see you lose. Yeah. I want to be able to say I watched the fight to see Mayweather finally take a L. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then people come up with all these excuses why you won. You know what I mean? Like that's just the nature. That's the nature of people, but especially like here. You know what I'm saying? So
because we feel like it's limited. Like it's only 3 people can do that. He made it. Yep. Oh, I can't do this no more. Yep. And then when the people who have made it, they see someone doing it, they're like, people copying my style. Yep. They wasn't doing this until I started doing. They wasn't fixing credit until I started fixing credit.
I see that a lot.
Yeah, they say. I've seen people say, "Oh, y'all wasn't wearing gold grills until I had a gold." I'm like, damn. Yeah. You think you started that revolution?
Facts.
It's just the competitive. Like Fresno, you have. If I talked more shit, people will tune in. But I'm gonna stay on my path, and I'm gonna create something concrete that's real to me. And I do accept the challenge, and I do with the youth. You said through reffing. I should, yeah. And speaking of reffing, I do have people come up to me and say, "Hey, I seen you on kids. Yep. I seen you on the podcast. You interviewed this person. You interviewed that person." And I chop it up with them a little bit. So I think like just me doing this is motivation because somebody at that middle school age or that freshman, sophomore age can start on their cell phone and get a $10 mic and just learn the technology. Yeah. And then by the time they're 18, 19, 20, they can get a job or meet people and then be polished and full-fledged into it. So I accept the challenge. And by me doing that, I have to be consistent. So for that to work, I will have to practice consistency. I will have to set aside the time to create the set, find the host, worthy hosts, and structure and prepare the plan to do the show. So, because this is probably my best tool. Social media, I probably joke a little bit. If you get my humor, you don't, whatever. But I'm really not the motivational speaker on social media. I think my voice is probably my strongest asset, is my voice. So I accept it. Shout outs to Woo Stacks for sure. And before we go, I'm going to give out some gold bricks. We don't give out flowers here. We give out the currency of kings. Flowers die. As men, it's not really masculine, to give another man flowers. But I'm going to give you a gold brick for being an author. And you captivate on Facebook. I don't know if you posted this on the status, but before you went in, because you released the book while you were locked up, right? Yep. I remember you saying you gave your mom basically everything in I don't know, in writing, typed out or whatever. I don't know if she took it to an illustrator or
So I started out just basically like, all right, let me give, my mom older. My mom like 65, 66, right? So it was a few years ago, but okay, I'm gonna write step by step very clearly what I need you to do to finish off these files that I have or anybody I may have coming in, and just break it down to somebody that's not familiar with the credit repair type of world. And then, I got so detailed, so much detail, and I'm like, damn, I might as well just turn this shit into a book, you know what I'm saying, and kind of make this shit automatic. And that's how I went about.
So you went through while locked down, you found someone to create the artwork.
Yep.
And
this is the beauty of me having access to that cell phone.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now I can go on Fiverr and, hey man, this is the kind of look I want,
Yeah.
And I probably got a few different, what do they call it? Revisions, whatever, when they changed the layout of it. And, just go ahead and went from there.
Tight. So you did all of that while locked down. He released the Plastic Millionaire came out. You're free when that one dropped. Yep. Okay,
yep.
So
I wrote it while I was locked down, but released it when I was done.
So you made the most of your time.
Yep.
Do you think people who have been locked up, like motivated people, get out and they move on triple? Like you value your time more?
The smart ones, yeah. Like some people get stuck in a cycle where it's just like, this is all I know. Whatever they're in there for, or whatever environment they came from, some people just get stuck like that. But the smartest people I ever met in my life has always been while incarcerated.
Yeah.
It's always been people that's been in serious situations. So I think anytime you have somebody that finally gets to get their head right and they overdose on the bullshit, right? Because I always tell people, being in prison is like hanging out the worst hoods in the world every day, all day, right? So like, you're surrounded by nothing but criminals. Not saying that these are bad people, but everything that goes on in the worst neighborhoods and zip codes all across the country, all these bad people, people that did bad things or that do bad things are in a concentrated area. So you can decide once you leave that environment in there to come back out and hang around a bunch of grown men that's up to no good, or you can be like, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And while you in there, you're either going to decide to use this time to read, plan, and then figure out how to execute, or fall more in love with the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So, I think it makes people more concentrated, right? Where they get to actually decide, like, okay, I'm gonna be serious about this, and I'm gonna come home, and it's no distractions. Like everybody out here is, you're so used to chasing girls, your mind's foggy because of sex and alcohol and drugs. So if somebody really comes home with the right mentality, it's like, it's too easy to win out here. It's really too easy.
Yeah. Put the work in.
Gotta put the work in.
Put the work in. It's gonna come true. Whatever. Stay focused. Put the work in for real. Like I told myself a year ago, I'm goal orientated, but I don't necessarily set goals. Yeah. It's like if I know that I'm working at a good pace and putting in good work, that goals will create themselves and goals will be met themselves as long as I stay on this path. That's like with my diet, I know like it's the easy thing to do is to go eat the bullshit. And that's one of my biggest mountains to climb is to like leave the bullshit alone. I've done it before, actually. So I know it could be done, but it's just about truly getting into that space, Yeah. And sometimes it takes me to get other things off my mind. Like doing this installment, the first installment is something I've thought of the last few months. So this kind of consumes my brain. So now that I'm up and rolling, I can probably like use more of my thought pattern, my thought process into saying, you know what, I'm gonna walk past that food truck.
Definitely.
I'm walking past, bro. I'm not spending this $9 with you. I'm
gonna give you another tool that I use, right? Too. It sounds crazy, but I carry a lunch pail wherever I go. So like instead of me like, oh wow, man, you know what? Let me get a banana or some fruit. It's like I gotta go to 7-Eleven get a banana. Where it's like, nah, I got some shit right here with me. Yeah. Making sound like people be like, what the hell you got a lunch pail for? And I'm just driving around with it. Everywhere I go, I have a lunch pail. So I be like, I at least got 2 meals with me. Whether it's even if it's cold, it's some cold rice and chicken or something. Yeah. Where I have something so I can be like, not only do I save money, but then I'm living a healthier lifestyle. It helps me, just stay on pattern. Like, because one thing that, at least for me, when I'm dialed in with certain things that I want to do, it's easier for me to stay dialed in with everything else. You know what I'm saying? And like when you eat sloppy or you're eating how you're not supposed to, it just gives that much, like it turns a switch on your brain where it's like, okay, well, I'll slack over here too and I'll get it back together on Monday.
Yeah.
And that shit just keeps going.
Yeah, it creates a cycle. Yeah. So again, your gold bricks for being prepared for the opportunities, for using your time wisely, for writing books, coming home to a Ferrari, when everyone thought like it wasn't going to be sustainable. You've been home, what, 5 years now?
5 years.
Is this the longest you've been out?
It's the longest I've ever been out in my life.
So, and it looks like, you're out of, your hands is clean, you out of trouble.
Yeah.
You accomplishing other things. So I'm gonna give you your gold bricks, not flowers, y'all. Gold bricks, the currency of kings, the gold standard. And salute to you. And that's how we gonna end it. This is the great expression, the first installment. I think support should be earned, just like respect. So if you like what you saw, hit the like, hit the icon that matches that emotion. If you want to spin the block, subscribe to my channel. This is my personal channel, Westside JJ. I'm the driving force behind this show. I'm always going to be the host, and I don't invite guests. I only invite co-hosts to my show. Today's co-host is Woo Stacks, and how can they find you, Woo?
Woo Stacks on Instagram, Jesus Jones on Facebook, but I'll be on Instagram more. Woo Stacks on Twitter, and shit, that's pretty much it.
So that's pretty much it, y'all. This is the great expression, installment 1, and we out of here, y'all.
Would you handle that, please?
Then you better go out there and do some real shit. So dig that.
I'm too saucy for that.